can't get it out in 15 minutes? Like, that's it. I know the average attention span is 15 minutes. So I'm going to try to take you guys on a trip. I'm going to try to do it in 15 minutes. I'm going to try my best. But when you have stuff, I was telling one of the dancers, I sometimes still get nervous when I come up here. But I think a lot of times my nerves is because I want to be able to get the message out. I want to be able to get what God has told me to tell you to get it out thoroughly. So I don't want to leave stuff out. So I think that's what I get nervous about. And I think any athlete before a game, they probably still get them jitters. And my mother always told me sometimes being nervous is good because it keeps you sharp, keeps you aware. So I think it's going to keep me sharp, it's going to keep me aware. But I titled this lesson, Dare to be a Daniel. Of course, we do that for our kids here, but I titled it for a reason because I want to talk about Daniel. And if you want, you can turn to Daniel, the book of Daniel. You can start with chapter 1. When we talk about Daniel, I tried to look up some things about Daniel's early life, his education. I found that Daniel was taken captive by the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar. When back in those times, when an empire took over your empire, you had to conform to the way of, that new empire. Just like, when the president comes in office, he runs all these people, his cabinet, and gets rid of all the other stuff. But Daniel was one of many boys that was taken from Judah. Daniel was from Judah. And they were in Babylonian rule for 70 years. They were in control of Babylon was over Judah. So that's a long time. But in that time, when a kingdom or empire took you over, what the king would do is take the finest boys, not just any boys, not the boys off the street, not the D boys, no. They want to take the boys from Harvard, Princeton, Yale, all the Ivy League and uppity ups, get people from royalty. So that's what this king did. He took a lot of, and Daniel wasn't the only one. And I know we always hear this story of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But they were just a few. There were hundreds of boys that were taken. They were just the ones that stood out the most. So, and Daniel was chosen with, a few other boys. The names that were given, you gotta understand, Daniel and his friends were given the name Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Their real names were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. That was their government names. And when they got taken over by the new king Nebuchadnezzar, they didn't want to change their names. So Daniel wanted to keep his name. His Babylonian name is going to be Belshazzar, named after one of their foreign gods. He didn't want to take on that name. And I say to you now, watch what you name yourselves. Watch what you say to the nicknames you give other people. Because the nicknames you give other people, I always say a good name can bless you up, a bad name can mess you up. Watch what you name your kids. Don't name your kids names like Alizé. I got a cousin named Damien. Always was bad since we were little. And you can't wonder why. Everybody's seen the movie. You can't wonder why your kids act a certain way when you give them these names. Your name is your title. Understand that. Your name is your title. A lot of times I be in the park and I meet a lot of guys working out, and they don't ever get their government. They always give a street name. Oh, you can call me Slick. You can call me Smooth. Just give me your government name. We adults. You don't have to give me all these aliases. Because what are you hiding from? I'm not the police. I'm not looking for you. I'm not going to arrest you. That's why when I meet people, I give them my government name. That's my title. That is my title. So be proud of your name. There's a lot in a name. Think about Jesus Christ. There's a lot in that name. Just the fact when we go through issues and we say his name, demons flee. So there's a lot in your name. Another thing we find out when Daniel was taken captive, they were supposed to eat certain things that the king, because in order for them to be in the king's palace, they had to eat the king's food. Now you think, oh, that's, sirloin, shrimp, lobster tails, all the fine things, wine. Daniel didn't want to partake of those things. So he asked the prince of the eunuchs to to not feed him that food. And the prince was scared because he couldn't go back to the king and say, oh, well, these boys don't want to eat your food. You can find that in Daniel 1, chapter 1, 8 through 16, where he's negotiating, as a young boy, negotiating with this prince of the eunuchs. He's kind of like a supervisor, almost. So he was basically in charge of the care of the boy. So here he is negotiating with this man, telling him, I don't want to eat this food. Now this man is in charge of his caregiver and taking care of him, make sure he gets his meals, make sure he's clothed in the finest clothes, and he doesn't want to eat. So he's thinking, I'm going to get my head cut off because this little boy don't want to do what he's supposed to. So Daniel negotiated with the eunuch, told him, give me 10 days. Feed me this, and he had a very fair diet of vegetables, water. Feed me this, and compare me in 10 days to the other boys who ate the king's food. 10 days came, Daniel and his friends were healthier, stronger than all the other boys that ate of the king's food and drank the king's wine. They looked far healthier and stronger. In Daniel chapter 2, we see that Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. He had a dream that he didn't know what the dream was. He called for all his wise men to come interpret the dream. Now it's easy when you hear people say, oh, I have a dream, this and that, and they tell you about the dream and you listen to it, you're like, oh, you know, God, that's one of the gifts God gives us. He gives us different gifts. Everybody in this room. And another thing I wanted to state before I started, I pray that everybody who comes and listens to this message and have sat here during this service, once you hear something, you are accountable for it. Amen. Everybody in here is accountable for what you hear. So just know that when you get to heaven, you can't say you didn't know. Ignorance is no excuse in heaven. And I'm tired of people saying, oh, I didn't know, I don't know. That's not an excuse when you know. So this message is going to help you know. It's going to help you understand what our role down here is. Getting back to chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar could not tell them what the dream was. All his wise men in the kingdom, none of them knew how to interpret a dream because he didn't know what the dream was. He couldn't remember the dream. And being that he could not remember the dream, they could not give him anything or tell him anything. So he made a decree to kill all his wise men in the kingdom. All his wise men, he wanted them dead. Now, this is a king that you can say is irrational. Because here it is, you don't remember what it is you wanted to say, but you're looking at me to help you remember what it was you were going to say or do. I'm not in your head, I wouldn't know. These men didn't sleep with him the night before to know what his dream was, because they weren't with him. But he expected them to interpret his dream. We see that in Daniel chapter 2, 32 and 35, Daniel and his friends prayed to God. They prayed because, and understand something about, this takes faith. When you have a situation where Daniel and his friends were going to be killed for something they didn't even have nothing to do. It was not their fault that the king couldn't remember the dream. But the king was going to kill them nonetheless. So they prayed. They prayed and asked God to reveal the king's dream to them. Daniel was able to interpret the dream, and the king was thankful and rewarded Daniel and made him a ruler in Babylon and a chief over all the wise men in Babylon. So that just shows you, when your back is truly up against the wall, you will only have one direction to look. See, some people even in here, you haven't really gone through real adversity. You haven't gone through real trials. You haven't gone through calamity. That's what I call Iron Man faith. When you learn true Iron Man faith is when you go through true calamity. And understand there's a difference between a trial and a calamity. What Job went through, that was calamity. That was calamity. When everything falls apart all at once and you can't catch it, you don't know why, you don't understand. You think, and understand, a lot of times it's not as a punishment. Daniel and his friends, this was not a punishment, but these boys were being tested. They were being tested. So they prayed, and it just shows when you knock and ask God for something, the door shall be open. These boys prayed for their lives. Their lives.
Yeah.
See, a lot of guys, you take prayer for granted. You don't realize the power in prayer and how powerful prayer is until you got to be pushed up against the wall. And it should never take any of us to be pushed up against the wall where you can't look left and you can't look right. There's no escape. Why wait to come to the Lord when you got your help and your strength now? Everything's good. Why can't you come to Him then? Why do you always want to run and cry when things go bad? I've seen so many people, I've seen Muslims, straight Muslims, getting hardship. And the first thing they say, oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. That just shows you. They know. They know. The Bible says every knee shall bow. Every tongue will confess. That just shows you it don't matter what religion, what walk of life, people will, they identify because it's in us. That's why when people get scared, they say, oh Lord, help me. That's why. Daniel 3, we see, so Daniel was now given this great position now. He was high up now. He started from the bottom, now he was here. Everybody know that infamous line, you started from the bottom, now you're here. That's where God took Daniel, from the bottom, and promoted him as a chief over all the wise men in the Babylonian nation, empires. Babylon owned a lot of real estate around this time. 70 years is a long time to be in rule. Just imagine we had Trump for 70 years. Think about that. Wrap your mind around it. A lot of y'all be going back home somewhere else to other countries. Trust and believe. So understand how long this empire ruled. In Daniel 3, we see Nebuchadnezzar. Now, Nebuchadnezzar makes a statue. I believe they said the statue was, I believe it was 90 feet. I forgot how, but it was as big as this church, made of gold. And I understand his enthusiasm. It's just like if, one of us was to get a new car, you get a new car, you call your friends, you call your family, you show your siblings, oh, look at my new car. Everybody wants to go for a ride, they want to sit in it. I get it. I get the excitement. You have a 90-foot golden statue. That's something to be proud about. But what was this, I did not like, and everybody in here would say the same thing, is that Nebuchadnezzar made a decree. Not only did he show all his wealthy friends his new prize, but he wanted to make it so that when he blew a trumpet and flute, that you had to bow and worship this idol. You had to bow. Now just imagine that. Just imagine if Trump passes a law that when every hour, not every hour, but 1 hour during the day, when you're at work or wherever you are, you hear some type of, get a notification on your cell phones, alert, horns blowing on your radio, that you had to stop what you were doing and you had to bow. And they were giving all this homage to Trump. That would be kind of irritating. But this is what he did. He wanted everybody to stop when they heard the trumpets and the flutes going. They had to stop and bow to this golden statue, this idol. So, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, these young men didn't bow. They did not bow. And the king was so upset, he went to them and asked them, are you going to bow? And they told him, no. To his face, man to man, we're not going to bow to your idol. Nebuchadnezzar told them that he was going to punish them. And they told him, our God will deliver us from your hands. That inflamed him. That made him so angry. He went and had the soldiers turn the furnace up so hot that when the soldiers opened the door, they were engulfed in the flames. That's how hot. He made it 10 times hotter than his usual capacity, just to hurt these and kill these boys. So once again, we see Daniel, well, Daniel wasn't in this situation, but we see Daniel's friends once again praying for their lives, praying for a miracle. Because now they were bound, tied up, and pushed into this furnace. Pushed. And Nebuchadnezzar watched them burn. But while he was looking down in the furnace, instead of seeing 3 men, he asked his soldiers, I thought we put 3 men in here. And they said, we did. He said, why do I see 4? When they opened the furnace door, the Bible tells us that these boys came out not singed, not burned. They didn't even smell like smoke. They did not smell like smoke. And I truly believe when you have faith in God and you're doing God's work down here, you can get shot 15 times and you will not die. If God puts you down here for a purpose and you have a plan, and He has a plan for your life and a job, you will not be called home until God says it's your time. That's why I'm amazed when I watch some of these entertainers and they talk about the hardships in their life, getting shot this many times or going through this, and they still act a fool out in the streets. I just tell them, like, I tell my brother the same thing. God spared my brother not once, but twice. He was not supposed to be here. I picked my brother off a highway, 2 highways, 2 separate highways on 2 different occasions. Watched the concrete from the highway, they dig it out of his body because he hit the concrete that hard and it was embedded in his flesh. So my brother was not supposed to be here. He was not supposed to be here. 2 times God spared his life. 2 times. And he completed an academy with broken leg, messed up back, shoulder. He completed it. And I know he knew it wasn't just him. I was praying for this young man every day. Every day I prayed for him. That God would strengthen his body. Just take him through and mature him spiritually while he was in me. Because it's something that God had to do while he was in me. He had to give him that discipline, that militarized discipline. And I know God is going to continue to work on it. But it's amazing that when God has a calling on your life, and a lot of you can identify because everybody in here has gone through different trials, has gone through some hardships in your life that you can identify, and it's a reason why we go through these hardships. There's a reason why we all have hardships or trials in our lives. Nobody can escape them. It doesn't matter how long you've been a Christian. It does not matter. Everybody in here has been to school. Every time you went to school, you had to take a test, right? Didn't matter how smart, if you were the smartest kid in the class or the not so smartest kid in the class, everybody got the same test. Everybody got the same test. And what does a test prove? A test proves that, you know what, I've mastered this level of my education or this level of this subject. You can say, I know this because I've tested on it and I've passed it. That's why God gives all of us tests and trials in our life. We're never going to escape the trials. Never. That's what we see here in Daniel. So they came out unsinged, unburnt. They didn't even smell the smoke. Their bodies didn't smell the smoke. And Nebuchadnezzar was shocked. Was so shocked. We see in verse, we see in verse 6, another test. Each scripture that I'm talking about, each part of this story that I'm talking about, I want you to start to see how faith works. When we have faith, how important our faith is. And a lot of people don't understand, like, faith. Faith is being obedient to God, God's word, despite your consequences. I always tell people true faith is living life without trying to, I had a quote, and I put it up on one of my things. Living life without scheming. That's what I said true faith is in one of my things I posted on my profile. I said true faith is living life without scheming. So, and think about things you scheme about. I've schemed before. I've schemed on ways to get jobs. Oh, maybe if I talk to this person, they can help me out with this and help me get in here. But it's never been God's plan for me. It's never worked out. So if I have faith, I got to know that I don't need to go talk to Tom's uncle or Rashawn's cousin to see if they could get me in this career or this field. If that's what God is going to place me. I found jobs every time I needed a job. I've been, and I know what it is to be not have money, not have gas in your tank, you sitting at home, not have nothing to go, no food to really eat. I've been there. So I can relate to the person who is hungry. That's why when I see hungry people, I give them something. Because I know what it's like to be hungry. See, each one of our trials is supposed to make you wiser. It's supposed to make you smarter. It's supposed to help you identify when you go out here in this world that you can identify and help save the next person. We're supposed to be blessings, not idols. And a lot of times what we want to do is we want to be an island. An island sits all by itself, by its own self, in the middle of nowhere. God did not put us down here to be antisocial. I don't like when I hear people say, oh, well, I'm just an extrovert, I'm just an introvert. That's just who I am. No, that's not who you are. You're not even living your true potential. You're not living your greatness. Everybody in here is given greatness. It's only cultivated by a few people. Only a few people truly live out their greatness. Everybody does not try to live their greatness. They try to come up with excuses. You know how many people I invited to church today? I invited so many. Few come. It does upset me. It makes me question whether this person is a friend. But I realize I gotta be patient because God has been patient with me. I can't write them off and dismiss them as a friend, no matter how many times I've invited them. No matter how many times I've told them, please come. Oh yeah, I'm gonna come one of these days. I still, when I was younger, I used to get real angry. I was really aggressive when I was younger. God really has, he's still working on me. The aggression has gone down. I don't even get upset when people tell me that. I don't get upset, I don't get angry, I don't get mad. I just keep moving forward, inviting, because that's what God put us down here to be. Amen. Daniel was faithful and righteous man, a man of integrity. The other politicians in the empire saw Daniel. So, you know, when you're successful, what happens? You tend to sometimes attract what? Haters. Haters flock. When you're doing well, you're going to always have someone or a group of people, in Daniel's case it was a group of people, that are going to try to take you down. These men tried to look up Daniel's background, and it reminded me, that's why I said the Bible is the one book that no matter what happens, this is the one book that does not change. Nothing under the sun has changes in God's eyes. Everything we do now has already been done in this Bible. There's nothing new that you can do that's not already in this Bible. Affairs in this Bible. People struggling with alcohol in this Bible. Gambling, you name it, it's all in this Bible. These men sought out to look up this man's bio and find out, they even followed him to see what it is they could pin on him, what dirt they could find. Just imagine, so you go outside, you see somebody sifting through your garbage to find some dirt on you, to find something that they can use against you to hurt you. That's what these men did. They sought out because they saw that he was an upright man. So, you know, the most upright people, they like, oh, it can't be true. They went seeking. And because they could not find any dirt on Daniel, because he was truly an upright man and a man of integrity, they made a loophole. They tried to make it, and they got the king's son, Nebuchadnezzar, they got his son who now took over, Darius, and Darius liked Daniel. Darius did not have any issues with Daniel. But they got into Darius' head to make a decree, and understand back then, when the king in Babylonian law, when the king made a decree, he had to abide by that law. Once he stamped it, put his seal on it, it was now a law. That was it. So when he made this a law, the law was that they could not pray. They had to pray to Darius for the next 30 days. They had to pray to King Darius. The reason why they did this was because these men saw that every day, 3 times a day, Daniel would pray to God for an hour. He would spend an hour 3 times out the day and go pray. These men saw that. So they used that and said, okay, well, we're going to make a law that institutes that you can't pray for the next 30 days because they wanted to see Daniel thrown in jail. They wanted to see him fall. They didn't like the position he had. They didn't like him. So the king made the law. All they did now, once it became law, Daniel didn't know it was a law. He probably wasn't even thinking. He was so focused on God that he probably wasn't even paying attention to this new decree. So it became a law, and all they did was sit and wait. They sat, they waited, and they waited till Daniel went and prayed. Once they saw Daniel pray, they immediately ran to King Darius and told him what Daniel did. They immediately ran and told him what Daniel did. And the king came before Daniel and asked him, Daniel, is this true? And Daniel told him yes. He wasn't going to lie. His God, he was not going to lie on his God. And he was honest. And Darius did not sleep or eat that entire night because the punishment was death if you did this. If you broke this law, the punishment was death. So Daniel was taken and was sent to the lion's den. When they put him in there, just imagine you sign a law that now gets your family or your best friend or your family member and get them thrown in jail. Or get them sent to the gas chamber or something like that. He did not know. So the Bible says that Darius didn't sleep or eat that entire night. That entire night, Darius did not sleep or eat. When it came the next morning, Darius rushed down to the lion's den and called out to Daniel. Called out to him. And it said that Daniel answered and said, I'm here, my king. He was so relieved. He was so relieved that he opened it and let Daniel out. But it shows you just how good God is and how if we walk by faith, just faith, having faith, what God can do. Daniel walked by faith and was obedient to God's word. We see in every situation in Daniel's life, he was never afraid to stand out. He did not go along with the crowd. Amen. Daniel overcame every test that was placed in front of him. That's why he was able to be promoted to such high ranks, because he passed each test the first time he came in contact with it. We need to make sure we are passing our tests because God is not like any other teacher or professor you have ever had in your life. If you fail the test, he does not give you a different test, but he gives you the same test again. We need to be like Daniel. We need not to be afraid to shine our lights. Daniel was different. It says in Titus that he raises up a peculiar people. We're peculiar. We're supposed to be peculiar. If God raised us up that way, that's the way we're supposed to be. So we're supposed to go forth and yet shine our lights. Don't put your light underneath the table. The Bible says when you put your light underneath the table, what good does it do to the room? The only time a light is good is when you put it over on the table so it can spread light to the whole entire room. So I challenge and I look at everybody in here. Don't look at the person next to you. Don't think about the people that done you wrong or the people that's doing this or doing that. Think about yourselves. Think about yourselves. I challenge everybody in here to dare to be a Daniel. Not just the kids. It's not just the kids. It's for us to dare to be a Daniel. What are you doing that's different? What are you doing while you're so afraid to go speak to this person and speak to that person? I was at Applebee's and I was just drinking some water waiting for my appetizer, and the man next to me started chiming about something. I could have been like, oh man, I don't even want to talk to him. I just want to get my appetizer and eat so I could leave. But we got into a little conversation. And it was a nice, friendly conversation. It's an older man, not in my generation, I'm not in his, but we had a nice conversation. 2 different walks of life. But we had a nice conversation. It takes nothing to be nice, smile, and you'd be surprised how people open up to you. It's a proven fact that people open up more to a stranger than they would their own people they know. You'd be surprised how much a stranger, when he's sitting on a bus, sitting on an airplane, or sitting next to him in an elevator, how they'll open up and tell you stuff. You'll be so surprised just by saying hello. That's your invitation into telling somebody about Christ. That's always your invitation to tell people about Christ. So don't hold your light underneath the table. Put your light on the table and shine it. It also says that we are the salt of the earth. So if we're the salt, we're supposed to preserve things and give things flavor. Amen. We are supposed to save souls and be a representative of Christ. We should be leading people to Christ, not them leading us astray. We will be faced with tough trials in our life. All of us are going to go through it. Every single person in here is going to go through trials. And I guarantee you, I pray, you think about Daniel when you go through your next trial. Because 3 times that Daniel was tested, him and his friends, they all passed the test. And they were facing death. A lot of you ain't even facing death. And you still won't be faithful and call on God and pray to God and spend that time with Him. He answers all prayers. He answered these boys' prayers from certain death. Each time they were supposed to be killed. But each time they prayed and remained faithful, God promoted them. And understand how promotion works. Promotion, God will never promote you beyond something you could truly handle. When you see people who get promoted beyond what they can handle, they always fold. They always fold. So don't worry about your job. I see people, they train people who don't know the job, just got hired, and they train them to be their boss. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, because God is going to promote you to bigger and better. God is going to use you. So I tell people, we all are going to go in the lion's den. Every single one of us is going to be in the lion's den. Our job is to teach the lions how to sit. That is our job down here on earth. Every single person is going to go in the lion's den. All of them. If you haven't been, you will be. I ride a motorcycle, and they always say it's 2 types of riders. The ones that bend down and the ones that are going down. Because everybody who rides, you're going to fall. You're going to fall. Understand, it's okay to fall. If you don't fall, how do you know what getting up is like? If you've never been knocked down, how can you talk about it? This is your experience. This gives you experience. This gives you that stuff that you can go talk to people about. When they come to you frantic and worried and stressed out, you can say, what's wrong? And they tell you the whole story, and you still sit there calm. This is where you get that from. So I challenge everybody to dare to be a Daniel.